The Green City Startup is an initiative of the City of Joburg which encourages green entrepreneurs to develop their ideas in building, energy, water, transport and waste. This is the Green City Startup Show. On the show this week, we visit the Klip Wetlands Project. We take training classes with mentor Angela Ho. We visit the Johannesburg Zoo and we speak to Melanie Hawkins from Lionesses of Africa on the big interview. Molweni Slovo and welcome to the Green City Startup. My name is Nozipho Mpanza and I'm here to give you all the latest happenings in the green entrepreneurship landscape. Now before we go any further, we invite you to connect with us on social media. Find us on Twitter at the GC Startup and our Facebook, the Green City Startup. We'd love to keep hearing from you. Let's head to our weekly feature. This week, we take a look at the Klip Wetlands Project to learn about how the community is restoring and maintaining these natural areas.
Klip River Wetland Rehabilitation Project started during the FIFA 2010 World Cup as the Mayoral Legacy Project. So out of that, we then had to do all the studies to assess the wetland, the functionality aspects. And out of that, we then identified certain nodes that we believed that we could do development of parks where people could sort of appreciate recreational aspects while they're interacting with nature on the wetland. I'm passionate about the work that I'm doing, especially in the communities, because I know that I'm making a difference in our communities, and at the very same time, because I'm an environment at heart, and if I see that you see a wetland that's functioning, you most probably know that you're rendering the eco goods and services that the wetland is supposed to provide to the community. There was quite a number of problems that we experienced along the wetland. One of those is illegal dumping. There's also frequent discharge of sewers and everything. And you remember, wetlands are your filters. So now we needed to enhance the functionality aspect, while on the edges we actually protect so that communities don't use those for dumping spots. The idea of actually developing these eco parks along the edges of the wetland, it's mainly to get the support of the community in such a way that the community now participate in the park instead of actually fencing off, which most probably the fence would be recycled and you'll remain with the area that is bare, and people would then go back to their old ways of actually dumping. Of areas that we've worked on, we now have quite a good support from the communities in such that the areas that we've developed have actually enhanced property value around the areas we've developed. And at the very same time, we've now forged partnership with communities to a level where there's nobody that would come from outside the community to come and dump as previously it was utilizes some of the dumping spot areas. On Torothinyembe, we've developed the park in the middle, and then on the edges also we've got the wetland system. And part of it is we've got the Educational Environment Center, where school kids are actually on certain environmental days where are hosted and they are taught about the wetland and the river systems and the plants that are there. So we've got the environmental center that does that. Through in Johannesburg City Park and Zoo, we then have school programs where people are then educated on that one. On Zola project, we had a wetland system that was situated in the middle of two townships, and the community was actually crossing along the wetland, and that was posing risk to the community in such that during the rainfall event, people would most likely drown. So On the project, we then intervened by actually building the pedestrian bridge across the wetland. And then in the middle, we then did some enhancement on the wetland for it to function. Then on the edges, we then developed a park also that would actually enhance and the community to be able to interact with nature. There's quite a number of work that's still going to happen, and going forward is the more we get support, I mean centrally to this type of development is the community support. So if sub-community would sort of support us and protect the developed areas that we've left behind, I think we'd go forward in terms of sort of protecting what nature can offer in terms of the functionality of the wetland and the creational aspect that we'd be leaving behind to the community.
It's good to know that the protection of our natural habitat really lies in safe hands. You can log on to our website, TheGreenCityStartup.co.za, for this video and more such like these that will help you with your green initiative. But now, our resident Mr. Fix All Your Startup Problems, Brandon, has some helpful tips and hints to help you become a successful entrepreneur.
Regardless of what type of business you operate, there is competition around every corner. With competitors contesting for your piece of the market and with customers counting every penny, how do you stand out from your competition? Well, Entrepreneur Magazine may just have the answer to that question. Let's check out their guidelines on how to outshine competitors. First up, price. Getting this right is the first priority. With the current global economic situation, consumers are far more considerate of their spending habits. They want bang for their buck. So it's up to you to meet or beat your competitors' pricing on certain frontline products and services. Secondly, you need to provide added value. Whether shopping online or normally, consumers need that extra push when choosing where to make their final purchasing decision. So by adding some kind of incentive, you give customers more reason to make you their preferred choice. Thirdly is convenience. Shoppers these days have far less time on their hands. Seek ways to streamline the checkout process and ensure that important information about your brand or product can be easily accessed. Additionally, reconsider your hours of operation and perhaps align them with consumers' preferred shopping hours. Lastly, build trust. People have become far more observant of promotional efforts and in some cases less convinced by them. Build your customers' trust by staying true to your word. Do what you say and say what you do. It goes a long way. To sum it up, ensure better pricing, create added value, establish convenience, and build trust. That's all for hints and tips. Find more of our hints and tips on our social media pages. On Facebook, it's The Green City Startup, and on Twitter, at The GC Startup. We're always looking forward to hearing from you. Until next time, keep focused.
Sometimes something as simple as a few minutes of conversation with a friend can really point you in the right direction. I recently sat down with my friend Mokgetwa to discuss the solution building blocks on Talking with Tutors. Welcome to Talking with Tutors. We're joined by Mokgetwa in studio to tell us about his focus areas and his tutoring experience. Welcome, Mokgetwa.
Thank you, Nizipo.
So, Mokgetwa, as a tutor, you know that there's quite a lot of dynamics to consider when creating a business, and we hear a lot about these business building blocks.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about them. What are they?
Well, building blocks are essentially the basic elements to building your business, and they encompass things such as your product, the problem you're trying to solve, the solution, the costs involved, the revenue that you'll make from it. So it really is just thinking about everything that is involved in establishing your business from the get-go. Once you have that idea, how do you go from having an idea to having an actual business? Okay,
all right. And your focus, I understand, is the solution aspect of business blocks. So tell us about then, what is a solution? What does it entail?
Well, when someone starts a business, usually they want to solve a particular problem. And once you've identified that problem, you then need to find out whether or not your business solves that problem. And when you're trying to think about the solution, you need to ask yourself questions such as, how do people access that solution? Does your business solve the problem that you've identified? And is it a worthwhile solution?
And so just on that, trying to identify a solution, how do you really know when you have that solution to your problem?
I think you can't really know whether or not it works until you test it out, until you've gone into the market and you've sold your product or your service to your first customer. Then only can you find out whether or not it really does work and if it really does solve the problem.
Oh, fair enough. And of course, it can't be easy. So what kinds of challenges are people facing when trying to find solutions to their problems?
I think a lot of the time people face challenges when they're not particularly sure how the customer feels about it. So they're not interacting with their customer. They haven't spoken to their potential customers as yet. So they're trying to, understand whether or not the solution will work, but without actually interacting with the customer. So you definitely need to speak to your potential customers. You need to go out into the market. You need to speak to the people that you want to target with your service or your product and find out whether or not they want the solution, if it will work, if they're willing to consume it, and if they're willing to pay money for it.
Fantastic. It's interesting that it always comes back to people. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Mokgethwa. That was Mokgethwa. Thank you for joining us on Talking with Tutors. Still to come on the show, we have a training session with Angela Ho to give you expert entrepreneurial advice. We visit the Joburg Zoo to see what upgrades are underway. Plus, Melanie Hawkins from Lioness of Africa is on the couch for the big interview. It's all coming your way after the break, so don't go away. Welcome back to the Green City Startup Show. Remember to keep in touch with us through our social media pages. Simply the Green City Startup on Facebook or at the GC Startup on Twitter. Next, we get some entrepreneurial advice from expert mentor Angela Ho.
Hi, I'm Angela Ho, and it's my privilege to be your mentor. In this short tutorial, I'm going to outline the basic building blocks of a successful business and provide some questions to help you get started on your entrepreneurial journey. These key essentials are to help you give your business idea structure and to also go out and test things in real-life situations. The first question is to understand the problem. In order to make sure your idea is a fit, one needs to ask the questions. What is the problem? Why is it a problem? And when or where is it a problem? Secondly, describe your solution or offering. How did you solve the problem? How do people find it? What does it have that is different? And how will it change lives? Thirdly, define your customers. Who are they? Where are they? What are their priorities? How much do they earn? What is their sex, education, and skill set? And how will you, most importantly, communicate with them? Number 4, explain your product or service. What makes it different from the rest? What is the benefit to your customers? And how will they get to know about it? How will they learn to trust it? And how does it get to your customer? The last building block, your suppliers and partners. Do you know your suppliers and partners? Can you do without them? What do they do for you? Are they reliable and will they provide quality service products? How do you measure their value to your business? In conclusion, there are many questions you need to ask in order to understand all the elements of your business. Take the time to meet and talk with the people and groups outlined to get real feedback about your business. If you want to learn more about these concepts, research the Business Model Canvas. Thank you for watching.
Next, we head over to a place close to my heart. Easily one of my favorite places to go to as a child. It's the Joburg Zoo.
The Johannesburg Zoo is situated in the leafy northern suburbs of Johannesburg in Saxonwold and covers 55 hectares of land. The zoo was founded in 1904.
You know, the zoo is more than 110 years, and in that regard, you will need to be becoming modernized. Directions are changing in terms of how people interact with the zoos. As an animal collection specialist, I'm responsible basically for more than 300 species that are in the zoo, 3,000 specimens. We participate in conservation projects that are run nationally and internationally. When people come to the zoo, they don't go back without seeing animals. One of the aspects that we did is that all the old walkways, as you walk in between enclosures and various areas, had to be renovated and put new walkways, basically. Looking at also adding some recyclable materials that will be used as you walk in all those particular aspects. You see them in the zoo. A year ago, we opened a very beautiful aquarium for the people of Johannesburg. By the way, the best aquarium that has a tunnel. As you walk in, you can see the fish. For us to be able to keep that into an international standard, you need to have a quarantine area where when fish are coming into the collection, they first go into that area. So the city has afforded an opportunity through the support of what we call EPWP, Expanded Public Work Program, that the zoo had an opportunity to engage with.
Yeah, I worked for AWP for 4 years. And my job is only to check for the fish and to feeding them, to clean the tanks, and then the other thing, to clean the places, is where I do it every day.
42 EPWP members that are currently working in the zoo. They come and do whatever we do in the zoo, they are part of us, they do. What they do is they go and clean enclosures. We have those ones that go clean and feed animals. They know how to deal with that particular environment. We are giving them an experience so that they can be able to be marketable even outside the zoo.
It's a great opportunity for me. It is very nice to work with the animals, to work with the environment actually, because I came here, didn't know how to work with the animals because I was scared of them. I wasn't like the animals before, but now I got the chance for EPWP and they brought me here to Johannesburg.
Thank you very much. Lukewarm water.
We decided to form Clean and Green Cooperative to help more young people in our community to development skills program and all. So that's why basically we started forming Clean and Green, and with 5 co-op members, with 1 disabled member in our cooperative, and that's where we gave everyone a chance in the Reveille community to be on our program as well.
I was actually scared of animals before, scared of working with animals, scared of being surrounded by a lot of people. So I learned a lot.
At first, when you come to work, you think it's all about getting money, but when you get here and you find out what you are going to do, as time goes on, you get enticed and like you want to learn more about the animals and more about your environment. And it's quite actually nice to be in that kind of position.
And we didn't end there. Because of the history of zoo becoming popular to visitors around, it therefore meant that when the number goes high, the parking space becomes a necessity. And we don't want to be almost in conflict with our neighbors. We want to be in good relation as the City of Johannesburg with our neighbors. So what we did is we received funding, and then we are doing at least 2 store parking. We used to accommodate about 300 vehicles. Now we're going to accommodate more than 700 vehicles. You don't want to come to the zoo and then you keep worrying about your car that is parked outside. Our hospital is going to be one of the best hospital facilities that we're going to open very soon. We have moved offices away from animals so that animals can have enough space. Yeah, these are the wards. These are the wards where animals are. And then we have put an area where the viewing window. Zoos internationally basically are creating a situation whereby visitors can be able to see procedures that are performed on animals during treatment.
The zoo is open from 8:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the afternoon, 365 days a year.
To see this video and others alike, log on to our website, TheGreenCityStartup.co.za. There's loads of content waiting for you to come and discover it. Being a female entrepreneur in a space often referred to as a man's world can be daunting. That's why Melanie Hawkins created Lioness of Africa, a networking company which brings ambitious women-led startups together. Puno had the pleasure of talking to her on The Big Interview.
Joining me in studio for The Big Interview, we have the founder and CEO of Lionesses of Africa, a network for entrepreneurial women in Africa. We've got Melanie Hawkins joining. Hello, Melanie.
Hello there. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Please tell us, what does Lionesses of Africa aim to do?
Our philosophy is very much we are about inspiring, sharing and connecting women entrepreneurs on the African continent with the rest of the world, sharing their stories, inspiring one another to do greater business, to build greater brands, and really connecting them with one another so they can actually do business, creating new opportunities to create new collaborations and connecting them with the rest of the world so they can actually be something that Africa can be proud of in the business space.
And as a female entrepreneur yourself, we know that women have 10,000 things to do and to balance and hold all the balls in the air. How do you manage to get it right?
First of all, I've got to dispel a myth. There is no such thing as balance. And this whole idea of work-life balance for women entrepreneurs, any entrepreneurs, it really is a myth. And the sooner we lose that, the better we can actually take huge pressure off ourselves. There is no such thing as balance. At the best, you can hope to just try and keep all of the balls in the air at some point. They're inevitably going to drop, but it's about how you maximize the time that you have and really achieve the goals that you have in your personal space and in your business space without negatively impacting on either. There are never enough hours in the day. There are always going to be conflicts and pressures in a family environment, how you balance, family, personal relationships and building a business. It's stressful enough building a business at the best of times, but holding all the other things together that women do on a day-to-day basis is hard. So I think if we can all do ourselves a really big favor and just lose the word balance from our vocabulary, we'll be so much better off.
So no more balance. It's not about balance.
Doesn't happen.
And tell us, with women being recognized in the business world, are we still fighting for that?
Look, I think it's always going to be a fight because there's a catch-up game that's still being played, but we're getting there. I think if you look at the Fortune 500, there are still very few women occupying boardrooms, which is probably why I think more and more women are actually seeing entrepreneurship and the opportunity to be able to build their own companies and brands and actually make a difference in the world of business. It becomes a more attractive option. Why fight something? Why not just create something? I think the whole culture around, particularly with the digital age and the whole rise of the tech company and startups and a sort of a willingness for the market to actually look at innovative new companies coming through, innovative new businesses launching. It's more of an opportunity for women to say, listen, I don't have to wait for somebody else to give me a chance. I'm going to create it for myself. I'm actually going to build something that can employ other people and give them a chance too. That's the difference.
And you speak to many women and network with them. How do you network? How do you take advantage of networking itself?
Look, I think a lot of women find it difficult. I think it doesn't come as naturally to many women. And I think particularly if you become an entrepreneur and you have to get out there and you have to start networking, it's part of doing business, whether you like it or not, whether you find it tough or not, you have to do it. What we try and do, if I can give you an example, with our Lioness Leaners that happen every month, we create what we call safe, friendly environments for women to get together. There's no pressure. It doesn't matter whether you are a multi-billion-dollar company or you started up yesterday. Yeah. You can all be in the same room because the one thing you have in common is that you're a woman, you're an entrepreneur, and you're trying to build something. The challenges are all going to be different, but there are challenges nevertheless. There are just as many challenges for someone starting out as there are for women that have been around for a long time and are building businesses and taking those businesses to the next level. There will always be challenges. Put enough women together in one room, you find common ground, but you find an environment that is conducive to great networking. And I think we just have to get over our fears. We have to just put ourselves out there. We have to take any opportunity that arises to be able to network and meet new people. And as tough as it will be to just get up and go and meet somebody and put a business card in their hand that you've never met before, just do it. In fact, we have something we do that's quite interesting. At the start of every Lioness Lean-In event, we have 30 seconds where we literally say to everybody, turn to the person next to you, behind you, in front of you, that you've never met before, and make an acquaintance, make a business contact, put that first business card in a hand, and go away with here from the event knowing that you've actually made a new business contact. And it is as easy as that. And it breaks the ice. It's amazing. The noise levels suggest that it works. Because once women feel in that comfortable space, then we're natural networkers. It becomes a lot easier.
Sure. It's really nice. I think women can get that right easily once given the opportunity to talk and work together.
Absolutely that.
Thank you so much, Melanie. It was so great having you here, and we learned a lot from you, and we saw the effects that networking can have.
Absolutely, pleasure.
That's all from Melanie Hawken and me, Puna Silisho, right here on The Big Interview.
That wraps our show this week. Tune in next week as we bring you updates on the finalists, some useful hints and tips for your startup, and of course, another enlightening conversation on The Big Interview. This is all coming to you on the Green City Startup Show. Until then, stay in touch with us through our social media pages. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. From us, the team at GCS, thanks for watching, and until next week, goodbye.